Uh-oh. Who we
We
got?
got the one, the only Cash Money Linda. Boom, boom, boom.
Hello, hello.
What up, Cash? How you doing on this beautiful Sunday?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys doing?
I'm okay.
Sweet.
It looks like you're very interested in a topic. Care to share?
Yeah, I think we should pick up where we left off the last time.
Okay.
And our question is, what do you guys think about someone? I won't be specific with females, but I'll be for both male and female. What do you think about being at home, living with your parents at age 30, and you can basically introduce your other half to your family because you're scared that they won't like them?
And why wouldn't they like them?
Because you know your parents' preference
Is it
for
a
the
race?
ideal.
Is it a race thing or is it more of a class thing or
It all depends.
okay?
Yeah, because I feel like what it is your parents have this expectation of not just for culture or religion, but also for um how they've raised you. They've expect that
Mm,
to basically be carried on.
okay.
So, what do
Hmm.
you guys think about that?
Uncle Sammy, you heard that question?
No, you have to repeat it. It's breaking up what I heard. I heard some parts of it, but not enough to understand.
So essentially, let's say you're old, let's say around 30. Um,
Yeah,
you're
that's
still
all.
living with your parents. Um, but you have someone, a significant other, that you don't want to introduce to your parents because you know that the parents are going to reject him or kind of disown you, right? In a sense.
Okay.
What was the question again?
How do I feel about that?
How do you feel about that, or do you like what do you do, right? What do you do about that? Yeah.
So, you guys know I'm gonna go off on this topic.
All right.
So, I think that the parents should be more open to what. If you're 30 years old, you should be able to make the decisions. So there shouldn't be any fear in you introducing your significant other to your parents, because whoever you choose at a 30-year-old age should be who you're choosing. Um, I think there's too many people to have, racist views or views that they, different religious views or whatever, instead of respecting the person or seeing who that person is character wise. They're judging them off of things that they shouldn't be judging them on. Like, you know what I mean? So if the person who's 30 is afraid to introduce that, someone to their parents, there's more of a parent's problem than the person who's 30. That there's probably some sort of trauma there that is making them afraid to introduce someone, which they shouldn't be, because your parents should be the ones that you trust the most to respect you, to like be safe. You'd think that you'd be safe to introduce someone to your parents, because those are the people that you trust, right? So I think that that someone should be put in that situation at that age.
Hmm. No response to that.
I like Uncle Sammy's response to that. But I have numerous people that I've met that is in this situation, and so basically it's very frustrating because they're not comfortable or confident enough to say, "Hey, like I have this person and I want to introduce." Like some people look at it as, well, what if I introduce this person to my family and let's just say my family doesn't like this person and the relationship doesn't go anywhere and we break off? Like some people look at it as, it's a bad thing because it will bring shame to the family. So they have this kind of, how do I put it, like scarce to feeling like, okay, what if the relationship doesn't work out and I introduce this person to my family, or and they don't like them, and I move on with the person and the relationship doesn't work out, like what do you do? Do you guys get what I'm saying?
But I have a question for you there. What's more important to you, the life that you live and the happiness that you get in life, or someone controlling who you're allowed to choose? So if parameters are put on the type of person that people think that you should choose, which being your family, is that more important to fulfill their needs, to put what you're looking for in a box and not be happy? Or is it more important for you to be happy with what you have? Now, granted, like you just said, things can work out, things may not work out. So that's life. Like, we'll never know. If I knew what the future holds, I'd be rich because I'd hit the lottery tomorrow. But we don't know what the future holds. So the only thing I can go off of how I feel today, and if this is who I choose today, that's what makes me happy. I'd rather choose the happiness that I have today than try to put myself, please other people, or quotes, bring shame to the family. Because at the end of the day, bringing shame, no one gives a shit. Let's be honest with you. They live their own life, they make their own rules, but they want to judge your life. So I say you do what makes you happy, and I don't give a fuck about bringing shame to the family.
I like that. That's actually well said. I For me, I think I'm in total agreement with what Sammy was saying there. I think, yeah, at the end of the day, it does come down to also having like a level of confidence on knowing that, hey, you know what, despite what the family will say, like let's say if your partner is introducing you to their family, and obviously you know their family is potentially prejudiced or might be a bit racist, whatever it may be. um I think you also have to have a level of confidence knowing that regardless of what they think, I know who I am, and I know what I'm what I bring to the table, and I'm not going to allow them to have, you know, my looks or my religion or background make them make judgments off me, and now I'm discouraged, now I'm this, now I'm that, right? So
Do you think though it's just hard for that? Like it's easy to say to tell someone it's your life, you live it, cares about your parents. Do you
The
think?
the other side of it is, if you don't live the life for yourself, then I know it's easier said than done. Like, granted, I understand what you're saying, but the other side of it is either you do it and be happy, or don't do it and wish that you had done it, because you will live in regret, because the time will pass by and you can't get it back. And the same family that's looking at you is going to turn to be like, hey, why didn't you find somebody, blah, blah, blah? Why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Be like, no, I had somebody, but you made me not go for it because they were this, they were that. Like, people want to pass judgment on what the perfect person for you is, but they don't know what the perfect person for you is. You know what I mean? So the more you listen to somebody tell you what's good for you and not listen to yourself, the more you're wasting your own time.
What do you think about the people
mhm.
that are in the situation but they don't have that ability to just rip the bandage off and tell the parents, "Go f yourself. I gotta live my life." Like, what's holding them back? Do you think it's just they're not
Fear.
mentally capable of it?
Respect.
I think I think it's mentally people are mentally capable. Some people are just scared, but I don't understand what you're scared about,
But at
because
age 30 plus, at
yeah,
what
that's
point?
sad.
At what point do you like? Geez, man, like you
You got
Yeah.
to do
basically
it,
have
right?
10 years left
Yeah.
of your prime days. Even not even 10,
Mhm.
because when you're in 40, you start going down, right?
Yeah.
You literally have around 5 years to actually live a proper life. and enjoy it.
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys.
After that, you're looking for your RSP match and stuff like that. How
There
much
you
you gonna
go.
retire with?
And for women, I would say it's even like
Worse.
40s probably too late. Like for men, I think it's the age is a little bit more because
Yeah.
you know you can still make kids and you can start a little later and stuff like that. But for women, you get to 35, like, you know what I mean? You're up against it already.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Cash.
Okay, so my question is, what if your parents sacrificed so much to make things work for you? They've sent you to school, they're loving, they've raised you well, they've sent you to school to become the best version of yourself. Of course, they try to provide the best for you. But when it comes to loving someone that is not from your religion or someone that is not from your race, for instance, um, I feel like that is very hard to go against, and it kind of feel like it would be disrespectful to my parents knowing that they've made so many sacrifices, because I know it will be upsetting to them.
But you're 30 now.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it's really hard. Like for a woman, I find like it's really hard to.
So you want to marry your parents?
No, but I feel like it's really hard. It's complicated. You know what I mean?
Can
No,
I-
I know it's complicated, but like, at what point do you say enough is enough? Or are you going to be okay with it? Because basically, if you're 30, you basically have to say, I'm happy with not living my life. I'm just going
Yeah.
to live my life for you and die when I'm whatever.
Can
When
I
you
also
die, I
say-
will come every day to your grave. I will mind the house that you created for us. I will make your bed every day. I will sleep here. I will cook food and put a dish on the other side for you. And then when you don't eat it, I will eat it myself because I know that the love that you provided for me will fill my belly until I'm 90.
But can I also say, like, the fact that parents would put a child in that situation, to say child, but we're talking about like a 30-year-old, would put them in that situation is very toxic. That's like toxic parenting.
Yeah.
Because you don't make kids to be your slaves. Do you know what I mean? Like you make children to give them a better life than what, at least that's how I would be viewing it. I want to give my child a better life than I had. So the opportunities and the things that I didn't have, I want them to have. So if I'm enforcing these rules, and I'm using quotation marks, that I think are correct, whether it be racist or, you know, religious or whatever, that I'm actually hindering my child from seeing the world better than I've seen it. So I'm just putting my trauma onto them. So I think it's actually bullshit to actually for parents to do that, to guilt a child or to make them feel like they need to be the ones taking all of these responsibilities. Um, it's putting your trauma down to them, and you're actually probably going to fuck up their mental health if I'm quite honest, because now they're feeling like they have to, like Jay was saying, tuck you into bed, and it's almost like a, I don't know, it seems like it's not healthy. That's like a not healthy relationship with your parents. Like I know you're supposed to respect your parents and everything, but it has to be a healthy respect, right? Like you have to get respect back at a certain age. Like we're not 12 anymore. Like it has to go both ways, right? So you're gonna take care of your parents, but to a point. It can't be like awkwardly like where you're kind of married to them. That's kind of weird to me.
Does the person in the situation that you ask Cash, is their parent also kind of like their best friend? So like they don't really have a social life. So they don't have that support externally. So because everything they hear is from their parents.
Yep.
Okay.
And
So-
then they're like, they have like curfew and they should be in home at a specific time.
So they have no life. They pretty much have no
Right.
life. They have no social life. They have
It's all about not bringing shame to the last name. That's all I'm gonna say. But I also want to share a very important example, and maybe you guys could relate to this as well if you know anyone. So when I told my family that I have a boyfriend, and obviously he's not from the same race or religion,
Ooh.
I was honestly, I was insulted so bad. And at that point, I wasn't disrespectful. I was very depressed because I thought that I'm picking someone that I find that is the right match for me, but for the other families, they don't see that as the right match for me because of race and religion. And turns out that they're not 100% okay with it. They will talk to me whenever they like to talk to me or whenever they would like to say hello, whatever the case may be. But I definitely know deep down in their heart that they could never get over the fact that I'm dating someone that's of a different color and a different race. That's how personally I feel. Because if you really care about me, you would still show that same love that you had for me when I was growing up versus after I start dating someone from a different race and a religion, you totally disregard me. It's like I don't matter anymore because I'm dating someone of another color, of another race, of another religion, and I'm gonna be straight from my religion and all of that. And it's actually the absolute not even true. Like I am still I'm not religious, but I am a Hindu. Like I still practice, I still do what I have to do. He didn't make me convert to his religion. We have a level of understanding and his family accept me for who I am. So why is it that when I'm saying, oh, I have someone, but obviously he's not from the same race or religion, I've been looked at, I'm bringing shame to the family.
Yeah. The thing is, it kind of shows you where you stand because you think your family gives you unconditional love, but that shows you very much that your love is conditional. Do you know what I mean? Like their love is conditional towards you because not saying they don't love you, but like you just said,
Mm-hmm.
if they don't, you can feel them treating you a different type of way.
Yeah.
So not all the time, people are human beings are human beings. We're not perfect, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that they treat you like that shows you who they are. So if that shows you how much they respect you as well. Sadly, if they respected you or treated you how you should be treated, then they wouldn't that would have no impact on that because to be quite honest with you, it literally has no impact on their life. They don't have to sleep with the person. They don't have to see the person and every day. Like this is who makes you happy. That has nothing to do with them. So I think it speaks more about them than it does to you. And then secondly, you have a boyfriend?
Yes.
Oh,
Well,
she's
no,
gonna.
not even boyfriend. Let me rephrase that. Fiance.
Oh, damn. You're gonna break a
Oh.
lot of the listeners' hearts. They didn't even see you though. So for someone who's ripped the bandage off and took it a step further for that from that 30-year-old, I don't know if it's 30, but that 30-year-old that actually said, you know what, screw you, I got a boyfriend, peace. Now that you're on the other side of it, what would you give advice for the girl in that situation? Do you regret what you did? Did you not regret what you did? Would you have done things differently?
No.
Are you happy?
Yeah, are you happy?
I am happy, and I think you can't just look at what your parents decide for you. Like, yes, they have a say, but it all comes from you and what you want and who you love and who you think is the right person for you. Because if the person is treating you right with respect and all of these other qualities that you've checked off, I don't see why you should be afraid of your family and having them hate you. And quite frankly, this is just a temporary hate. It's not something that's going to be forever. I mean, for some family it is a forever thing, but for me, I think they'll get with the groove once they start to see you're happy and they start to see that you are progressing in life with this person and and you're doing the right thing. I think by then it will become something that they will have to work with eventually and they'll just get over it. And quite frankly, like some of my family members, I know that they still think of it, but they talk to my fiance, they laugh with him, maybe they still think that it's not the right choice, but they've got over it. I'm guessing they did, but not fully over it. but at least the situation is not like it was at the beginning of my relationship when he was then my boyfriend. So I think for the advice for whoever is listening to this, follow your heart, go for the person that you really love. If this person love you unconditionally and you love them unconditionally and nothing can separate you two because you have that level of understanding, I think go for it. Don't listen to anybody, don't listen to your family. Go for it, give it a chance. And yeah.
And they still call you when they need something.
Exactly.
That's right.
That's right.
So hold on. I got a few words here. So I think to kind of echo what you're saying, Cash, is I think one of the issues is everybody puts so much stock and weight into what other people have to say about them. So meaning if I buy a car and I don't tell X, Y, and Z, it's a problem. If I go on vacation somewhere and I don't tell X, Y, and Z, it's a problem. Right? So it's almost like and this is outside of your immediate family. So your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sisters. That's outside of the immediate. These are aunties, these are uncles, these are people that you talk a couple times a year with. I think certain families or certain people put too much stock and weight into the judgment and what others have to say versus what their immediate family has to say. I don't care what an auntie or uncle that lives wherever they live, what they have to say about what I'm doing. I don't care about that. I care about what my immediate family has to say. And even then, too, sometimes you have immediate family that may agree or disagree. But at the end of the day, you kind of have to sometimes just block out all the external noise. And what I mean by the external noise is sometimes you just kind of have to block out what people who are far have to say, what people who are not your mom or dad, not your brother or sister have to say. And you kind of just trim the fat. No offense, but you just kind of trim the fat and you get to a place where, okay, this is my immediate circle. So I only care about what these people have to say about my choices in life.
And to add to that, though, I take it one step further. Even your immediate family, it doesn't really matter what they have to say. If
Mm-hmm.
they're not telling you anything that's progressive and positive, and they're only telling you the stuff that's negative, like, oh, his religion is different, oh, her eyes are green, like I don't know what people find the stupidest things to try to control other people's decisions.
Yeah.
Whatever the fact is, if it's negative, and you're trying to move forward in a positive light, I don't even care who it is, whether it's your mom, dad, brother, sister, whoever. You have to follow what you know, and that's why I kind of agree with what Cash is saying. At the end of the day, like she said, she ended up choosing, and now it's her fiance. But if she had like let it quit when it was just at a boyfriend stage, then she would have missed out on something really good. So it doesn't matter how close, how immediate it is. Once bullshit comes, you don't deal with bullshit. Like that's got to go.
So
Not saying you have to separate yourself from your immediate family. What I'm saying is they have to learn to have a respect, a healthy respect, to have a relationship, to treat you like an adult. You can't be like 30 acting
yeah.
like a 12-year-old. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, you got to be able to grow up sometime and make decisions.
Yeah.
So Cash, what you gave the advice, but what made you pull the bandage off? What was your moment where like I can't take this anymore?
um
Yeah. Like when they said, like, no, you can't be with that guy because of XYZ. What made you say, no, I'm gonna be with like in your mind you said I'm gonna be with that guy.
no, they didn't full on say I can't be with him. They just said that we know you're dating somebody and he has a different religion, different race, and you don't want anybody to know because you're hiding him, but we already know of him. I don't know how they know of him, but anyways, but basically like, oh, you're dating It's like you're dating a person that we're not willing to really accept because he's of a different race specifically. I don't think so much on the religion aspect of things, but I think it more has to do with coming from a different background and race is what it was. Now, I was quite upset. I called my sister and I let her know. Of course, my sister understands because of course she lives in Canada for so long and she knows that Canada is a multicultural country where people accept other people, right? It's not like you're living in the Caribbean, like Guyana and Trinidad, for example, where race and religion divide each other. You know what I mean? Um, and I got that support from my sister, right? But let's say if my sister didn't support me, I don't know what other decision I would have taken after that
So
because it's like I'm young. I don't know what decision is right because if my sister's not there for me, my dad is not there for me, my mom is not there for me, my the rest of my family is not there for me, then what do I do? Do I just leave everybody and just walk out of it?
So was your sister kind of that helped you rip the bandage off?
Basically, she stand beside me and she was she was like, "Yeah, give it a try. I don't
So
see
support. I guess.
support, massive support."
Let's say you didn't have your sister. Would the guy alone be enough support, or you kind of think you needed that person in your family to support you before you would have done it?
That's what I said. Like I don't
Yeah.
know how it would feel
If she wasn't
if
there,
I didn't had that support
right?
from somebody, at
Internal.
least somebody,
Yeah.
like a cousin, even a cousin.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then, my sister, my brother-in-law, like everybody started to give me great advice. And, you have to basically, it's hard. Like you don't know what to do, where to turn to, who to turn to, who should I tell this to? Would they look at me weird? And I'm sure a lot of people look at me weird because, yeah. And yeah, so it was really hard.
But you did it, and
But
it's
I
better.
did it.
So here's a question for you, Cash. If you were to, let's say, be in that position in the future, right, where there's someone else new in the picture that goes against what you're quote unquote supposed to be with, do you think you have enough willpower to do it on your own and face the criticism and face all of that head on? Or do you think you still need the support from everyone that was behind you, that was pushing you forward and basically on your side? You think you could do it alone, or you think you still need the support moving forward if it was someone else in the picture?
That's a really good question. I think if it was, if because obviously my situation, I was pretty young. I'm not young, but like I was like 25 or so, or 24. I feel like if I'm established, I'm an established woman. I have my shit together. I'm making good money. I know that I can carry myself through without family. I think I would definitely go to the path where I'm going to choose that person regardless if I don't get the support from other people. Because and I'm not saying because I have money or whatever the case may be, but let's just say worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out, like, I can still live my life. I have money. I could buy a condo. I could do whatever, right?
Yeah, but I think whether you make $20,000 or 200,000, I think they will still look at you the same way, right? So I don't think money in that equation. I guess the answer that I was looking for was more so, regardless of what your income, job, whatever it is, can you face the criticism on your own, or do you need the backing from friends and family that supported you the first time around?
I think I
think
could do
I
it on my
understand what
own.
I was gonna just say what JR's saying. I completely understand what he's saying because what he's trying to get to is, have you gained the confidence? Have you
Yeah.
gained the knowledge of realizing that? because I agree with JR. I don't think money means anything in terms of getting out of those situations. But what he's getting at is if you've gained the confidence and the knowledge to be like, you know what, I was right the whole time through. Like, so now with me knowing I was right, and granted you got the support, but now knowing that, let's say you didn't have the support, you have the knowledge of knowing you were right. Everything you've done was the correct decision and it
Mhm.
worked out. Does that give what he's trying to say is, well, would you
Is that
do it
enough?
again
Yeah.
Yeah.
without the even support? Would you be able to have that?
But maybe it's different. I'll let you answer, Cash. But maybe it's different for a woman. Maybe that because she mentioned finances, it's maybe the insecurity of not being able to. If they disown you, you're not
Hmm.
you have, and the guy disown you. There's something to fall back on that I can still live my life. Maybe it's an
Yes,
important for a woman,
Yeah.
exactly.
the financial side of
Mm,
it.
Yep. I think
could
that's
It's
the
be.
big
not
part.
just the confidence alone. It's the
Yep.
confidence knowing that if everything in the world fell down today, I can still be by
Yeah.
myself and live.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Why not? I think
That's
that's
true.
But then
important.
the other flip side is then I guess you could be right, Jay. The other flip side is how much, like, if you believe the guy is worth it that much, why would you have that fear? Like, I understand things may not work out or whatever, but it's like you have to have some sort of trust enough to, like, it has to mean something. If it doesn't mean something enough for you to go through with it, then what, what's the whole point, right? Like,
I
so
think
I think from my perspective, I'm thinking like if you're in it together and you really feel like this is the right person, you have to go in it with the mindset of it being the right person. You can't, like, I understand preparing for the worst, but you're kind of almost like manifesting the worst because you're thinking it's going to go that direction instead of like knowing that this is the right guy. So you're not even having those negative thoughts because it's only positive, you know?
but I think like in that situation for a woman, because they've been programmed by their family to say this guy's not right for you,
Mm.
that's always
Right,
going to be in the back of your mind. So they need that reassurance that maybe they that 1% chance that they're right and this
right.
guy is not good for me, and I
Yeah.
do make that decision. I need to know that
Hmm.
I can't just run back to my family. I need to know that, okay, you were right. I'm not going to go back to the family. This guy is trash, but you were right. But I don't want to face you guys anymore. So I need to be able to have my own home and be by
Yeah.
myself.
Mm.
Yeah. And you'll meet
Right.
great
Maybe you're
friends
right.
along too, and you can move life forward.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to have that too. Like I understand Sammy's point of view of yes, you should already know that you want to be with this person and not think that okay, yes, you have to be financially stable. But then we don't know what the future holds for us. We don't know if something doesn't work out. We don't know what if we're together and I can't have a child and you really want a child and it's just not
Issues come
working
down the
out.
road, right? You gotta have that knowing that you'll be
That
okay by yourself.
conversation
Yeah.
too, but like
And also my thinking was if this person was big, like it was big enough for you to bring this person toward your family, you obviously care for this person. It's not just like a random dude, so it's got to be, so there's some sort a level of confidence that it is going to work out because you wouldn't have brought some person to your family that you don't think is going to work out. But I think Jay is right, where because if you're serious about that person, you bring it to your family, you're confident, but excuse me, the fact that they keep shooting it down or putting doubt in your head is maybe what's causing the person to second guess it because oh, I'm losing my voice because the fact that you're bringing them to your family means you have the confidence, but there has to be something that shoots it down, and the only thing that's shooting it down is the family trying to put doubt in your mind.
Yeah.
you
Well.
guys know that there's some family that will go to an extent where they would actually cause a lot of distraction or not distraction but like not distraction, let's put it another way, like
Destruction.
distraction, but also like where it becomes suicidal. Like in certain countries, if you were to go against uh, dating a different religion
Mm-hmm.
or race, they would actually threaten you that they will actually commit suicide. So then, what do you
Yeah,
do at that point?
that's bull. That's like trauma, like
Yeah.
toxicity and stuff like that. Like if they're willing to do that, that tells you how
Mm.
much that they they really care about you. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I don't understand that line of thinking. Like it boggles my mind. Like for people to think that people give a shit that much is crazy to me. Nobody cares about what I do. Like, you know what I mean? For 5 minutes, they may care, but they don't care. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So people think that people think that their family cares, or people outside of their family like bring shame or whatever the words they want to use. Nobody gives a fuck, to be quite honest. Like they have their own problems that they deal with, so they will talk because that's what people seem to do. But at the end of the day, they talk about you for 5 minutes. But we think that people are talking about us all the time. So that's the problem people
Yeah.
have in their heads, that people care when they really don't.
It's so much more harder, Sam. Like I understand where you're coming from, but it's from a girl's point of view. It's so much more harder, um, because it's really it's something that you really have to sit down and just really think hard. But like as I said again, I was young. If I was older, maybe yes, I will be making my decision. And then of
Mm-hmm.
course, if I come from a very loving, caring family that provided for me from since small growing up, and I know to myself that, I might lose my family respect. I might lose all of this stuff that come with my life, like your sibling, your mom, your dad, because all of them are against your decision. I think it's really really difficult. Because put
But that's
yourself in that position
manipulation.
though. Put yourself in that
Don't you think?
position if something happened to you and you basically have no one besides yes, that partner,
Mm.
right?
But
Yes.
don't you think that's manipulation though? Like, so the fact that you bring a kid into the world, it's your responsibility to take care of them. That kid doesn't, a 10-year-old or 20-year-old now owe you their life. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
parents to make you feel that you owe, like who's gonna wipe your ass when you're 3? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's their job. Like
Yep.
sad to say, you bring a kid into the world, it's your responsibility. You can't turn around and be like, hey, I wiped your ass. Well, who else was gonna do it? Like I wasn't gonna do it. So the fact that they're like, oh, I took care of you. What were you gonna do? Like, you just make kids to leave them on the street? That's not that. That's what you're supposed to do. It's almost goes back. It's not the same. Don't get me wrong, but it's like
Yeah.
tipping. Like, you know what I'm
Guilt
saying?
trip.
That's what your job is. Like
Yeah.
you're supposed to take care of your children. Like that's the expectation. So the fact that they would manipulate you or put that guilt on you is bull. Like it's almost like, okay, let's say you're dating a guy and the guy says, "Oh, if you break up with me, I'm going to kill myself." Should you now stay with that guy for the rest of your life because you don't want him to kill himself? Or is that manipulating you to control your life? And
Yeah.
that's the exact same situation, except we're changing because people hold their parents in a higher regard because they should, and their parents should have more respect to not put their kid into that situation. That's why we view them that way. But it's the same situation if a boyfriend or a girlfriend were to try to manipulate you with that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Manipulation.
Yeah.
Mm.
Everything's
It's all
manipulation.
manipulation. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, whether
Yeah.
it however you put it, it's a way of trying to control you to do what they want you to do. And that's fucked.